My project is about intimacy with digital avatars, mainly discuss the identities, ethics, and interaction between human users and the avatar run by the program, especially looking at the relationship of love intimacy. At the very beginning, I try to define the scope of the main research objects. Human player refers to a person in real life who utilizes a computer or network service, but the digital avatar discussed in my project only refers to a virtual communication agent operated by digital programs. The starting point of my research comes from a Japanese news. In 2009, a special wedding was held in Tokyo. The man of the wedding was called Cell 9000. He is a 29-year-old youth. However, the partner of Cell was actually a game avatar called Nene Asizaki. Operated by the program, Nene is a female digital avatar of Nintendo's game Love Plus. In fact, nowadays, people interact with avatars in the digital world every minute and second. We are used to getting along with them. Only when the event of Cell 9000 and Nene will gain the national attention, we started to realize that, unconsciously, those virtual characters that were actually composed of programs seem to be able to have intimate relationship with users. Therefore, the main question of my project is avatar a substitute for human companionship, or a new type of digital intimacy? And how does the program run avatar to perceive and visualize intimacy of love? At the same time, I also want to explore the ethics in this relationship. Are virtual characters today the relationship with real players be another manifestation of the relationship between masters and slaves in the past? I first studied the discussion from the perspective of a human user. I found that digital avatars or early programs do have a master and slave relationship with users. There are two main reasons for this. One is that program's main function defines its identity. The assistant attribute of human work determines its subsidiary relationship. Another one is that programs, digital avatars, and artificial intelligence are all subconsciously treated as having a female gender, and the social stature of women was often discriminated against in the past. Then I looked at the perspective from digital avatars, trying to understand how programs detect and express anthropomorphic emotions in relationship of love intimacy. I first studied the interaction through text and sound. Taking the sentence "I love you" as an example, the program needs to deconstruct the keywords and reconstruct the word order according to computer's language. "I love you" became "you said you love the program." Then I looked at how programs detect and express emotions. Briefly, the system will form a series of parameters during the recognition process. Those parameters build the face or body of the player in the vision of the computer, and the expression corresponding to each emotion is a weighted combination of parameters. After that, similar to language feedback mechanism, the system will select the animation that meets the prediction in the library and convey it to the user through the avatar. The process is neither romantic nor precise enough, but it also gave me a basic understanding of how computers or programs feel. In addition, I researched on a series of physical contacts that may occur in intimate relationships and the equipment they require. For example, a kissing robotics can satisfy player for kissing at a distance. This will be also used in my project later. My project is called Slave to Slave. It is a new fictional story based on the context of Cell 9000 and Nene's marriage. The project will borrow their names and describe a new type of digital intimacy. The story will be conveyed by a film, using the perceptual perspective of both user and avatars as a medium respectively. The project is going to express the strengths and slavery characteristics of both in the digital love intimacy. I first listed the timeline of the movie according to three narrators in my project. They are human user Cell 9000, program run avatar Nene, and an artificial intelligence called X program. For the first timeline of Cell 9000, it contains a total of 8 key activities. This part is aiming to show digital intimacy from the perspective of a human-based player's perception. The timeline of the second narrator Nene contains 10 narratives. It aims to record approaches that Nene interacts with both human user and another artificial intelligence from the perception of program. There is also a short timeline of the third narrator X program. The original body of the X program is a fictional artificial intelligence put forward by Love Plus Game to prevent game addiction. It will have a short interaction with Nene later. Next, I sorted out the clips that the three narrators each possessed on the timeline. At the same time, according to their interaction methods, I integrated the three into the same timeline. It became the basis of my key scenarios. Starting from the scene 0, it uses an advertisement to inform the background and setting of the story. As early as 2009, Love Plus Game cooperated with Atami in tourism, using real city attractions to provide a major travel event, Trip Atami, for players and their virtual girlfriends. And in 2035, Love Plus cooperated with an architectural designer, launched a space project called Yes Ataku, which is a special hotel that players can live along with his virtual girlfriend inside. The plan aims to combine interactive equipment and space together with corresponding real and virtual intimacy activities. Next is Scene 1. This scene consists of two screens. One of the screens shows that Cell 9000 as a user is introducing himself to the avatar Nene. Another screen from the perspective of avatar Nene, she started modeling Cell's face and output the parameters, display the program's memory of user's appearance. The scene 2 is only about the avatar Nene. As the initial program, Nene started from the imperfect recognizing Cell's emotions and even making inappropriate feedback. Then it kept training to learn and understand to become more anthropomorphic. For this scene, I did some experiments. In the simple face recognition program I built, I presented the parameters memorized by the intelligence through the face reshaping model. At first, the face it remembered was almost deformed, but after training with more than 800 dynamic photos, the appearance it remembered looked positively similar to me. The scene 3 is purely from the user Cell's point of view. It explains that Cell is reading a menu on the use of interactive devices and spaces. This scene will be a short summary, paving the way for the intimate interactions that will take place next. The scene 4 is a series of intimate human and program interactions. Each activity will start with an interactive object. Maybe it's a touch glove, or a kissing robotic, or a sexual device. The screen will start from the user's perspective of Cell 9000, and gradually the screen will be occupied by the virtual world. At the end, for the kissing and sex part, I want to present it in a purely digital way. The scene 5 is only from the perspective of the program Nene. In this scene, Nene records the changes in Cell's attitude. From the beginning, Cell will ask for consent, then chat, and then engage in intimate contact. But after that, Cell changing to using Nene just as a tool for intimate contact like kissing or sex, without asking for consent. From then on, the scenario indicates that Avatar is the first slave in the relationship. Next, in scenario 6, Nene was required to be checked by the game system. The X program as an external artificial intelligence malfunctioned in the review interaction with Nene, which caused Nene to delete all the user's data. In this part, I hope to show a scene where two programs interact as avatars in the virtual world. In the last scene 7, when Cell found that Nene's memory was deleted, his emotions collapsed. I will express his addiction through his disordered life in reality and abnormal attachment to the virtual avatar. Cell as a user is addicted to the digital intimacy. This obsession reflects that Cell is the second slave in the relationship. Well, in general, these 7 scenarios constitute my entire movie story. I mainly want to express my criticisms of the virtual intimate relationship between people and programs through such fiction story. Using both human and program perspective as a medium, I want to explain that the program ROM avatar does not replace the real partner of people. They are often limited by the constraints of physical space, and their functionality determines the potential slave status in the user's mind. On the other hand, deformed, abstract digital intimacy makes user addicted to it. The addiction also makes user as a slave to relationship as well. Then the project will be continued with some further experiments. Regarding the interaction of the avatar as a slave, how can the ethics of the program be reflected from the activities through the interface? In the human program intimate relationship, how does physical contact and the real space form a connection? What kind of virtual platform as a medium can more freely present human and program intimate contact? Since the project is set in the close future, what kind of equipment and model of cyber can better cooperate with this queer interface? And how to visualize the scenes of avatar-to-avatar interactions? I will keep doing experiments and develop my project further. Thank you.